What's going on, homies? Welcome to the Cracked Soccer Podcast, episode number 46. MLS opening weekend. Week 1 is in the books, and let me tell you, it was spicy. Some records were broken, some major teams won, and some major teams lost. We're going to cover all of that and much more on today's podcast. You're going to want to tap in. Check it out, baby. Bang, bang.
Tap.
Boom. My guy, Fernando Jimenez.
What do you want?
Dude, week 1, man. It's in the books, man. It's a done deal. It's done. It's over with. The jitters are out. At this point, like, you got to be all warmed up and you got to be psyched up and ready to go. Dude, how are we feeling after week 1, man? How you feeling after this weekend? I feel like you got to be hyped. Come on, I feel like you're sad. Why are you sad?
Because RSL lost, dude. And
that's why.
I've been wanting them to win. I wanted them to win the MLS Cup this year, so I'm super sad about that. No, I mean, honestly, if we're being serious, it was a good weekend. Great weekend for MLS soccer. Obviously, I'm pretty sure every team played right. Like, I don't know. I don't think they wouldn't have every team playing this week.
It's a good question. I don't know.
But it's a great way to start off the year. Yeah, every team has played. There's honestly,
you know what a crazy stat is though? Have you looked at the scores? There was not one thing in there we mentioned last year.
I was literally about to say it, but there is one thing there.
Oh, okay. Yeah. What?
Were you gonna say 0-0 or just ties in general?
Yeah, 0-0.
Okay, yeah. I was gonna say there's not as many ties as there were last year, but looking at it, there are kind of what 3 ties that I see.
Yeah,
Austin,
I mean, but they had goals.
But they had goals, so that's a good thing. Hey, maybe this year is going to be the highest scoring goal season of the history. Maybe
you heard it here first.
Yep,
you heard it here first.
Going back into it, Miami kicking things off how they usually do. So it's looking good this year. It's looking good.
Yeah, for sure. I know, dude. It was good. I thought it was good. I liked the hype. I liked a lot of the conversations going around on social media and everything. So I was pumped. I was excited. I thought it was fun. We'll definitely talk about a couple different things that we did over the weekend, which was super fun. But before we get into all that, ladies and gentlemen, if you guys remember last year, we had a little competition going on within the podcast. We had a leaderboard. We had a picks leaderboard. Essentially what we did was we picked the winner of every single game, and at the end of the year we just tallied them all up and see who's been, the most consistent in terms of the picks of, winners of games. And this last week, we obviously had our picks. We posted them on social media. Everybody was able to see them. And we're starting off hot. Okay, we're starting off on a really good foot, both of us. You had 6 correct picks, and I had 8. So, only 2 off, my friend. Only 2 off.
Yeah. Well, I swear, like, last year I had maybe, 2 or 3 to start off the season. So, hopefully...
I think you were hot at the beginning of the season.
Well,
I think so. I think you were doing well.
I keep it going.
And then I was doing really bad because I was like, dude, I don't know what the heck I have no idea who's where, what's what. And I'm like, but just give me some time, I'll figure it out. And, lo and behold, you just kind of need a couple of seasons under your belt to just kind of understand, top teams.
Everybody knows this by now. I pick with the heart. Reyes picks with his head. So, obviously, if I wouldn't have picked RSL, it would have been a lot closer. But, yeah, I mean...
Yeah,
I'm trying to think. Some of these ties probably screwed us over a little bit. Maybe we can start doing 1 tie per season again, but maybe not as many points starting off. But yeah. I mean, I'm not gonna complain about 6 out of how many fixtures were there? Do you happen to know?
I mean, if it's full 30, it should have been 15, right? So.
Oh my God, who would have thought about that?
I mean, kind of math.
Man, you're good at math, aren't you?
I was good until they started introducing all these letters and stuff into the mathematics, but
I was good till they added a second digit to the numbers.
Then they got a little too big, right?
Yeah.
Now all you know is how to measure them on the measuring tape.
True.
You're really good at that, I'm sure.
Yes.
But that's crazy, dude. Obviously, lots of great games across the league, which will be really nice to get into. So, what we're gonna do this year, we're gonna keep the correct game, correct performances, correct players. But we're going to call it the Correct Roundup. So I don't know if you have it with you, but I'm gonna start us off. I'm going to kick it off. The Correct roundup. Ooh, let's get into it, man. So, like you said, dude.
But I didn't, obviously.
Okay, dude. We'll get it next time. So like you said, man, there was plenty of games going on over the weekend. We'll kind of go into some of these really quickly to kind of give some, some context around them. But let's kind of go down the list a little bit. First one that I was kind of looking at was Orlando against New York Red Bulls. So I'll kind of, take hold of this one. This one is my cracked game of the week. For me, I thought this was a really, exciting game. I was actually looking forward to it. I watched a bit of this game. I wasn't able to watch the whole thing just given the timing. But, at the end of the day, the New York Red Bulls did end up winning 2-1 with 2 goals in the first half, and then obviously Orlando getting a late one in the 96th. But essentially what was so cool about this game is that there was a lot of total shots, man. 17 shots for Orlando, 22 for New York Red Bulls. And yeah, I thought New York did a really good job of just kind of being a very, very good all-around team. And I was also excited to see how Michael Bradley, fared as a new head coach for New York Red Bulls. So I think he did a pretty good job, man. Obviously, too, I don't know if you saw this too, but Orlando City, their goalkeeper, he had like 7 saves this game. So definitely could have been a much crazier scoreline, but he kind of kept Orlando City in this game. But I thought this was a good game, man. Like, did you end up seeing this at all? Like, did you catch this or see this at all?
No, honestly, the only game I watched over the weekend is the one we watched together.
I
happened to be busy, pretty much. So after I left, I ended up getting a lot busier than I expected. I was supposed to watch the Miami game, and I didn't. But yeah, I mean, at least the good thing for Orlando is they just recently got rid of their long-term goalie, and Crappy. He did pretty good. He wasn't very crappy today, or Sunday, Saturday. So the New York Red Bulls started 3 players 17 years old or younger. They're trying to become the next Barcelona, from what I can tell.
That's wild.
Yeah, no. So they had what's his name? Julian Hall. He was 17. He scored two goals for them. They had Adri Manmetti in the midfield, and they had Matthew Dos Santos, 17, as a defender. Midfielder was 16. I don't know if I mentioned that or not. But yeah, I mean, obviously Michael Bradley has something in his mind where he probably wants to kind of what we've talked about, develop some of these players. Obviously, Red Bull has money, so they'll be able to pump some stuff in, but he probably wants to, being a U.S. International player coming in through the draft, he has like maybe a bit of a different mindset than maybe some of these other keepers, or not keepers, these coaches that have come up, where he's like, you know what, I came in, I was developed through this, I want to get some of these players coming in instead of coming out and purchasing them from outside the country, outside other teams, and just building people through his academy. So that kind of gives me an idea of what he wants to do with this year.
Yeah, honestly, that's sick. That's crazy. I didn't even look at that, dude. That's crazy to see. Like you said, Hall, Mehmeti, Dos Santos, all 3 of them are like super young. They played basically the entire game, and they had really good player ratings. But yeah, it's very cool to see because they have Cade Cowell there, they have Forsberg, they kind of like as their senior guys there that can kind of help them out, and for them to beat Orlando City 2-1, I mean, hats off to them, right? And then Hall obviously had the 2 goals, so that's super cool to see. I thought both of those, that entire team played very well against Orlando City, a pretty decent Orlando City team that I thought was relatively pretty good, to be honest. But yeah, for New York Red Bulls to get that win, like that's hats off to them, right? So super cool game, super cool win. Next one up that we can kind of go into, we'll probably let's get into the big one. Let's do the big one because I want to give you some time to shine here. But unless you were like living under a rock, LAFC ended up beating Inter Miami on Saturday. Very, very big game. It was a Saturday night thriller. It was a Saturday night showdown. Essentially the game that everybody wanted to watch this weekend, basically. And, I mean, it was what a show, right? At the end of the day. Lots of different things to kind of take away from this game. I'll give you the stand first. I'll let you kind of like say your piece, kind of what your thoughts were. But, at the end of the day, what was it? 75,000 people plus attended this game. So, the lights were on, and they were on very heavy.
Another record broken, apparently.
Yeah. Yeah.
Apparently. What do you want me to say, dude? They lost.
That's all you got to say, man. They lost. It is what it is.
I mean, again, I'm not too worried about it. It's the first game of the season. If this was maybe towards the end of the season, I'd probably be more worried than I actually am. LAFC looks very good, and they're going to look very good because from what I can tell, there's no difference from the team that they finished the last season off with. There's been very little change in that team compared to Inter Miami that has had quite a bit of a change. They got a new striker. They got Silvetti out on the right. They got a new keeper. They got a new defender. They're still trying to figure themselves out. Obviously, everybody is going to expect them to come out and beat every team just because you have Messi in there. But I feel like it's going to have a few learning curves for this team. So I'm not too mad about this big hiccup that they had. I'm not going to lie and say that I'm happy that they lost, because obviously I'm not. But I wish it would have been closer. I wish they would have had some goals. But, it is what it is.
Yeah.
I know they'll get better as the season goes on. And who do they play next week? Hopefully somebody bad.
Orlando.
Oh, yeah, they do play somebody bad. So should be an easy game next week. And honestly, they should win next game.
They should. We'll see how it goes.
Especially after Messi went and talked to the refs. Should help us out a little bit. So
he went and gave him an extra 2,000 for the next game, right? So
yeah,
pay him off a little bit. But no, I thought it was a good game, to be honest. Like, I mean, you kind of think about this game, and like I mentioned, it was one of the ones that everybody kind of wanted to watch. Everybody was looking at. Did Messi's hamstring, did his little injury that he picked up a while back, did that affect him in this game? Who's to say? But at the end of the day, he did end up playing the whole game, so it probably wasn't that big of an issue. Is this a big, there goes the season for Miami? Absolutely not. Like you said, they're only going to get better throughout the season. They do that every single year, right? Where they're maybe just a little bit slow, and then towards the end, they're just going to get that much better. They're going to get that much more reps in. They're going to kind of get used to everything. So, I think it's not a bad thing for Miami, but it is a very, very good thing for LAFC because they looked really good, right? They looked polished. They looked very attack heavy. Bouanga and, Martinez and Son and Nathan Ordaz, like they all looked very, very good on the field for their attacking offense.
Mm-hmm.
So I think, they have a very, very good thing going. But also they had the guy in the back for LAFC. Their backline was pretty good. Tafari played pretty well. He only got like a 6.9 player rating, but I think the back line for LAFC kind of knows their role when it came to this game. Like I think they knew that they weren't going to beat anybody like super well because Inter Miami is a very good team and they have good players. You're not going to really be able to dribble past them. So just clearing the ball out was like, good job. You know what I mean? And they did that. So I think that kind of frustrated the team a little bit. Like, hey, they don't even care about like playing it out the back. They're gonna counter, gonna score, and try to do that on Inter Miami and see if they win the game, which they did. So hats off to LAFC, big time win, big time like motivating factor for this team. So I think that's super cool. But yeah, what a stage to do it on too. 75,000 plus, packed stadium, Saturday night. It was awesome. California, Los Angeles, like what more can you ask for, right? So I thought that was cool. Gosh. Great game, to be honest. And for those of you that are not in the know, Bouanga won me my fantasy matchup this week. Homie put up like 600 plus from his performance because I made him the captain, and he just killed it. So luck of the draw.
Won my fantasy matchup. Did you know that?
You did end up winning the matchup? Yeah. Oh, it's because you played my buddy that forgot his freaking. He forgot to
put anybody. That's why I won. Nobody.
I was at work today and I was talking to him. I was like, "Bro, you totally forgot to put your lineup in." He's like, "Dude, I know, I'm my bad."
I know. I was like, "Dang, I won," especially after my team not doing so hot. So I'm gonna have to make some changes up top, unfortunately.
Yeah, have to change a little bit. But cool, man. So next ones, we might even be able to hit all three of these here at the same time. Maybe not. But the California teams, a little bit interesting here. San Diego FC, huge win against Montreal. San Jose, huge win against Sporting Kansas City. Los Angeles,
huge win.
They tied. They tied against New York City FC. All three of them were kind of on display this weekend. Some of them more than the others, but we mentioned in last week, San Diego FC, are they going to be as good as last year? They scored 5 against Montreal. San Jose, same thing. Were they going to be as good or as bad as they were last year? Scored 3 against Sporting Kansas City. LA, one of the ones that we thought were going to be a lot better than they were last year. I guess I will say a good New York City FC team, but just to kind of look at these from a perspective of hey, the California teams, they have some firepower. You know what I mean? They always have. LAFC obviously winning. San Diego putting 5 against Montreal, which take it with a grain of salt. Montreal's very young. They weren't a very great team last year. By the way, your buddy from Miami's there. Did you know that? The defender from Miami that left
for San Jose.
No, for Miami. Remember, he was going to be a really good one, but he always got in trouble. Remember?
Oh, Avilas.
And guess what he got that game?
A red card.
Yep. I'm not even kidding. He got a red card in the 50th minute.
Bro, that's what I'm saying. So what was it? The first season when he was in there, Miami, I feel like he did really well, and then I don't know what happened, but every time he came out and played, he'd just instantly get a yellow, or he'd get a red card. He'd get a red card, miss a game, come back, get a red card, miss a game. I'm like, bro, what are you doing?
Yeah, I know, dude, and he's continuing that streak. So
that's good.
I feel pretty bad for Montreal, to be honest. It's such a tough place to be at right now. I'm trying to compete, so that's sad. But San Jose looking pretty good as well. Again, they beat Sporting Kansas City, which, take it with a grain of salt. They weren't amazing last year, but neither was San Jose. So, even better for them. But they ended up beating Sporting Kansas City 3-0, man. This guy named Muni ended up having 2 goals, which, can you believe what position Muni's in?
Yeah, I saw that, and I was like, that's kind of crazy to score 2 goals as a center back. I didn't watch the game. I just assumed they were off corners or some sort of set piece.
Yeah, I didn't watch it either. So, but I did see. I think they were headers. I think I did see one of them. But that is a crazy stat to look at because if you had, let's just say you had Bawanga in as your captain for forward, and then you had Muni in as your defender, you would have put up so many points, which I didn't. So you don't have to look at your phone thinking that I did it. But
no. I know you didn't. You're not that good.
But yeah, it would have been so nuts, dude. That would have been crazy to have. But hats off to him. I think a lot of people are going to pick him up in fantasy, to be honest.
Do you know who the top 2 point scorers were for KickBase?
I want to say the guy from St. Louis and then Bawanga.
Nope. It was Mooney number 1 and Bawanga number 2.
Was the guy from St. Louis probably 3rd? I'm assuming. Maybe. He had to have been up there. No? That's crazy. I thought he did really well, but maybe not.
He's 14th.
Oh, wow. That's crazy.
Yeah.
So yeah, anyways, those are some pretty crazy games. Did I cover your cracked game, my friend? Do you want to get into that one?
Let me see it. Oh, here it is. I had FC Dallas versus Toronto as my cracked game of the week just because, maybe I wish this was the Inter Miami LAFC game where it ended 3-2, but obviously 3-2 for Inter Miami. How do I say this nicely? But these are 2 very bad teams. So my cracked game of the week is FC Dallas versus Toronto FC, and the fact that they were able to put up some goals, Obviously, these 2 teams didn't have the best game or season last year. So, it was nice to see them going kind of back-to-back, 9th minute for Musa, 15th minute for Milojevic, and then FC Dallas come in and score before the half to make it 2-1. Toronto comes back, scores in the 67th minute, And then Musa comes in and ends the game in the 74th minute for FC Dallas to give them those probably much needed 3 points, especially in the West where I feel like it's maybe a little bit more open with these teams. So those 3 points will go a long way. So I just wanted to crack one out for them.
Yeah.
I wanted to crack them.
You know, what's funny is you mentioned Musa. I remember he was pretty good last year too. He had a couple good goals, and I think, you know, he's opening his account up early this year, which is great. Mm-hmm. But did you ever watch that movie Madagascar, the kids movie, the animated film?
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, I don't know if it's Musa, but do you remember when they were like talking about like the lions and they would come, the Musa are coming? Was it Musa or Fusa or what?
I don't remember.
It was one of those. I remember it from Madagascar. It was like, the Musa are coming, and they're all running away. This is this guy. When the other teams have to like face Musa, the Musa is coming. He's solid, dude. He's pretty good.
Yeah, I mean, I remember him from back in the days when he played at Benfica. I mean, he's been doing pretty good. He's been at FC Dallas since 2024. Yeah, shout out to him. Shout out to what's his name?
Both those teams.
The Hispanic guy. Just because I said FC Dallas and then I thought of Houston, so I thought of the Mexican player they just got. Back. So yeah. Shout out to two bad teams putting up some goals.
There you go, man. Love that. Okay, I'll kind of get into the last game here for me, and then I'll also include my cracked player for the week, and it's gonna have to go to Paul Rothrock. What an amazing effort by this guy, man. Man, I wish, you know what? If you can, while I'm kind of speaking here, maybe you can pull up the highlights and see if you can find his assist, because it was absolutely amazing. Let's see. What are we sharing here? Okay, sweet. Okay, player of the week. Perfect. Love that. We'll share that on our social media. But just to kind of give everybody an idea of how well this man played, let me kind of pull it up here, what I had here. Where did it go? Here we go. Okay, he had a 8.9 player rating. He had a goal and an assist. The one that I wanted to point out was the assist, which I think a lot of people would look at this and think, wow, like what an effort. You know what I mean? But I think, just goes to say like how difficult it is to actually do something like this, and to give an assist this well after, essentially saving the ball from going out of bounds, which is very difficult to do. Not just, as an effort for him, but also for his teammates to like say, hey, look, he just won this ball back. Like now I got to be ready to receive this ball and potentially score a goal. Right. So the guy played very, very well. Like I said, 8.9 player rating, super young, right? Paul Rothrock, 27 years old, 100% shot accuracy for this game, which was awesome. One shot, one is all he needed to get a goal for this game, and a big 3 points for Seattle against Colorado. Yeah, let's share this really quick. This effort here was pretty insane. We'll kind of look at it because I think for the most part, I think everybody's kind of looking at it and like thinking, hey, like, there's no way he's getting this because that was a terrible ball. Saves that. Nobody gets it. Delivers a perfect pass to Rothrock. Hats off to him, bro. Like that was awesome. For me, that's very difficult to do. So Paul Rothrock, dude, cracking one open for you, man. You're cracked player of the week for me. So hats off to you.
I'm gonna hit the pipe for you this weekend.
There you go.
No.
I don't know who you have, but I'll let you take the last part and do yours.
Part. What if I told you I didn't have a cracked player this week because Messi wasn't available?
Dude, I would believe you, to be honest.
Bet. That's exactly what it is. I didn't want to pick anybody. I am striking the cracked player of the week this week. There will be no cracked player of the week for me. Just kidding.
After all those performances.
Yeah, after everything he did. It's actually, we were talking about him earlier. I don't want to spoil anything, but it is actually going to a minor.
Oh, what are you doing?
Julian Hall. They call me the Epstein of Utah.
Oh,
they don't do that. They don't do that. They
don't do that.
They don't do that. They don't do that. They don't call me that. I'm just kidding, guys. So Julian Hall was actually my cracked player of the week this week. And not only was he my cracked player of the week, he was actually the MLS player of the match day for week one. I don't know how much him being 17 adds to that. Obviously, he did have 2 goals. I don't know if you saw them or not, but they were bangers. Like,
really?
It was crazy. this guy's going to be something. I've never seen goals like that before in my life. They were 2 tap-ins, by the way. And
I was going to say, they were like really up close. I'm looking at the chart now.
Yeah. But honestly, what can I tell you? I've never heard of this man before in my life, but it's his 5th MLS game. So I'm assuming he played or his 5th career regular season start. So he must have played a couple games last year. And this also makes him the youngest player in league history to score multiple goals in his club's opening game of the season. And it says it was his 5th game starting. It was his first game-winning goal in the MLS. Obviously, both of them were in the first half, but since Orlando scored one game before, it counts as the game-winning goal. So hopefully he keeps doing what he's doing. He seems to be a pretty decent player. Obviously, I'm joking, like, tap-ins aren't as easy as it looks to score. You can ask me about it, and I'll tell you they're not as easy as it looks. So it takes some skill, but hopefully he keeps improving, and hopefully he stays in the MLS. He's 17 years old.
True.
What's his name for Philadelphia? Sullivan. He's basically signed to leave already. He's going to Manchester City once he's old enough to leave the country.
Same with this guy? Same with Hall?
No, not this guy.
Oh, Sullivan. Okay,
so that's what I'm saying. Hopefully it's not that same situation where not just him, but obviously the other 2 guys I mentioned, Dos Santos and Mehmeti. Hopefully this shows some teams out there. I hope they have a good season, because then these teams will be more likely to experiment, kind of how Michael Bradley is. Yeah. So I do appreciate what he's doing. And I just wanted to give a shout out to my boy Julian Hall for being cracked player of the week, which is a bigger honor than MLS Matchday Player of the Week. So if I do say so myself, but
one day we'll have little trophies that we'll send to these folks.
We'll send
one
them.
day.
Yeah, so one day, out to Mr. Hall.
Heck yeah, man, love that, dude. Yeah, I mean, honestly, the future looks bright with this one, man, because that's freaking awesome to have 3 players that are about 17 years of age, and they're doing it at the highest level here in the United States. So that's pretty awesome. Plus, they get the win, so it's a little bit of gravy on top. So hats off to him for sure. But love that, man. To be honest, the pour one out, like, we can definitely continue that if you wanted to. There weren't a lot of things to kind of pour one out for. But for me personally, I'm going to pour one out for the people that are not MLS fans or that are not soccer fans, because I just think the hype that there was this season, this weekend, around all the games, around all the the new players coming in, the transfers that are potentially coming in. Like, if you're not on this right now, man, like, you're missing the train, right? Like, this is the early train. This is early boarding right now, and we've only been doing this for about 2 years now. But, like, to be honest, like, the MLS has always kind of been in our lives, but we've been looking at it, we've been watching it. If you haven't been watching soccer, if you haven't been watching the MLS, like, you should, you know what I mean? Because this is super fun. There's fantasy now involved. There's lots of goals involved, lots of big players, lots of big names, big teams now. So that's when I'm pouring one out, man. If you're not a fan, sorry, man. Pour one out, dude.
Yeah. Do you have one? I'm gonna pour one out for myself. and thinking that Inter Miami were gonna win a game when it matters. Just kidding. They do that pretty often. That's a lie.
They'll be fine. No worries about Inter Miami, dude. It's okay.
Actually, you know what? I do want to pour one out for Real Salt Lake, bro, because I feel like they played a really good game, and they should have at least got a tie from it. So shout out to Real Salt Lake, and shout out to the RSL bros for having us over. Yeah. Well, not just us, obviously, but everybody in Utah at Calle.
Yeah, man. Shouts out to you, RSL bros. Shouts out to Calle for hosting. It was a lot of fun. I took the fam, took the kids. They were crazy, so I didn't really watch a lot of the game because, kids. But it was fun, man. It was cool. It was a cool place. I've actually never been there. So very cool environment, very cool, little spot, hangout spot. And, maybe one day, we can also do something like that there, because that was really fun. That was really cool.
Yeah, so by the street.
Yeah, exactly, man. That's why it's called Calle. Cool stuff, dude. So let's kind of go into some of the headlines here. So first and foremost, we've kind of already mentioned this. It was a big weekend for Major League Soccer, right? A lot of different games, a lot of goals, a lot of excitement. And basically what happened because of that is we had a record-breaking total attendance in these MLS games. So if you're looking at this, match day 1, 271 fans this weekend. Amazing. Dude, listen, I know. Compared to everybody else, compared to the Big Five, I get it. It is what it is. That's just another day. It's just another weekend for them. But this is big for us, okay? This is something that where in a country where the NFL, the NBA, the NHL rule supreme in this land. Major League Soccer got to win this weekend. We got nothing to compete with at this point right now. We just got to keep continuing and building this momentum, and it's going to be big. I'm excited, man. I'm excited.
What percent of the attendance do you think was from the Inter Miami LAFC game?
Well, if you do, what's the math on that? You have to do 387,271. You have to divide it by 75,000. Oh, he's dying.
Sorry, I'm sick.
He's dying.
That's why I've been putting this in my nose, guys. I'm not doing drugs. It's to clear out my nose.
If you're Hispanic, you know.
Yeah, gotta get that mix. The Vaporru.
Well, think about this. The average, the league average per match this last weekend was 25,818. Okay, 25,000, a little over, almost 26,000. The LAFC game drew over 75,000, 75,673. So if you're rounding, about 76,000, that's 3 times the average of the games that were this weekend. So it was big, man. It was huge. 75,000. The fact that they had it at the Coliseum was a brilliant move, right? Because that thing holds like 90,000 people, which was awesome.
Yeah.
But it's awesome to see, dude. It's awesome to see like it grow. You know what I mean?
For sure. I mean, as much as I appreciate them going to bigger stadiums, I do like when they stay in their home stadium. I just feel like it brings a different vibe. Yeah. But obviously, for a game of this stature, you have to move it somewhere else. Like, what's their stadium capacity for BMO Place or whatever it's called?
It's got to be like 25, 30.
Yeah, imagine that they're. And you get more people there, so 75,000, crazy number, 387,271, an even crazier number. Hopefully, I don't know, maybe if we can, 22,000? So yeah.
23 basically.
23, okay, so yeah, like they filled up their stadium 3 times in that one game. So maybe next week, I don't know if they'll have it. I'm assuming they will have an attendance record stat for next week. But maybe we can see kind of what the drop-off is. Hopefully there's not that big of a drop-off. It might be just because 75,000 is a big number, but we can see what the attendance is looking like, because I know at least one extra person will be at a game next week.
Oh, yeah. I bought 3 tickets, so at least 3.
At least 3.
At least 3. So that's super cool to see, man. I mean, like we said, we just love the hype that everybody's, watching the games, going to games. So that's super cool. So hats off to the MLS, hats off to soccer in the United States. Like, that's super awesome to see. Great for them. And then we kind of have to get into this too, because it was one of the major headlines that came out after the weekend. Lionel Messi. We seem to not be able to not talk about this man week over week. But if you didn't know, they did end up losing against LAFC. And afterwards, Messi seemed a little frustrated, right, with the game. Obviously, he lost. He doesn't like to lose. No great competitor does, right? Mm-hmm. And there was some speculation here.
Oh, he's burping.
There was some. I know, dude. It's with soda, dude. It's what happens. There was some speculation after the game that Messi was trying to go into the referees' locker rooms to have some discussions around the officiating of the LAFC Inter Miami game. And if you saw the video, we probably can't share the video, but if you saw any bit of this video, there's a video of Messi in the tunnel. There's clearly a door that goes into some form of a locker room. He's trying to get in there. He's trying to go. And then, of all people, Luis Suarez is the one that pulls him out of whatever room or whatever hallway he's going down, and pulls him out and takes him back to the regular locker room for Inter Miami. So the voice of reason was Luis Suarez, which is funny because of last season and how he performed and what he did. Right?
That's crazy.
But what are your thoughts, dude? I mean, I think at the end of the day, like, yes, it didn't look like he did anything wrong. He didn't go far if he ever did end up getting anywhere. But, what do you think? What are your thoughts on just kind of his reaction here? It doesn't seem very Messi-esque, but what are your thoughts on just kind of the situation?
The situation, let's say it's Messi, so I got to look at the positives of this, right? I got to glaze him. I love the dedication he has for his team and how he's willing to fight anybody for it. So.
I love it. Dude. Keep going.
No. That's enough Mr. Glaze for one day. I honestly think it's not a very good look. Obviously, we looked at the article. It said they found no whatever reason to ban him, but it's not a very good look. First game of the season, I understand you don't want to lose. You're in front of 75,000 people, but you're Messi. There's literally going to be cameras on you at all times, and it just sucks because I always talk about how I hate, especially like last year when Suarez was fighting everybody, spitting on people, biting people. I'm like, let's not do that. Let's not add unnecessary drama to the team. Obviously, I don't know what was the purpose of him going there. If what you said that it might have not even been the ref's locker room or something. Yeah. He had his shirt off. Maybe he was just trying to do a jersey swap with the ref. You never know. I'm just.
That's not a good look either.
That's not a good look. Yeah. He forgot to give him his $20 before the game ended.
The ref fees.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, not a good look. They'll move on from it. Messi has always talked about how he becomes a different person once he's on the pitch. Obviously, when you see him, he's very quiet. He's very timid, but sometimes his evil personality comes out and takes over. So
yeah. I mean, he's a competitor, man. That is what it is, right? Is this a good look? No, it's not. Is he lucky that he's Messi and this is the Messi League soccer? Like, yeah, he's obviously very lucky. They're not going to penalize this guy for something that he did like this, because if they would have to refund a lot of tickets next week. You know what I mean? And the week after, depending on how long they would have had to give him some sort of a ban for, right? So it's one of those situations where, yeah, I didn't see anything wrong. It is what it is. It's fine. Like, let's kind of move on. It's water under the bridge at this point. But it's also one of those things where you think and you look back and you say, yeah, you know what? Like, this league and everybody really, they kind of let Messi run the show. You know what I mean? Like, you can't really tell him no about certain things. You can't really punish him around certain things because it's going to affect you in viewership and, financially with everything else. Like, it's just going to affect whatever it is that he's a part of at the moment. So, had this have been somebody else on another team, a different player on Inter Miami, like, maybe they would have done something, right? But because it's Messi, they're not going to say anything. They're going to say it wasn't even the ref's locker room he was going into, right? Or, it could have been, obviously, but they're just going to play it off that way because at the end of the day, they can't let their marquee person for the league be bad, right? They can't. It's like when John Cena tried to be a bad guy in the WWE. Like, it can't happen. You know what I mean? Like,
you still watch that, bro?
Dude, hell yeah. No, I actually watched they had a documentary on Netflix.
Yeah.
Phenomenal documentary. I loved it. It's been 2 seasons now, and I've watched both. I freaking love it. But I watched it growing up. Yeah, it's kind of one of those situations. Like, he can't do anything wrong. And if he does, they got to play it as if he didn't do anything wrong. Because, like I said, financially, it's in their best interest.
Sounds like you're hating.
Yeah, I have to. You're the one that was glazing, so I had to do it.
No, I hate it. I told them it wasn't a good look.
Yeah. So.
No, but that had me thinking, because you said obviously he does what he wants, but then I was like, well, last year he didn't go to the MLS All-Star game because he was injured, and then he got banned for a couple whatever. So then I'm like, oh, I wonder if he'll be at the All-Star game this year, which is Wednesday, July 29th. And then I was like, oh, July, okay. So when's the World Cup end?
I was going to say the World Cup. Oh, you know what? That's funny you say that, because I do believe they're going to have like 2 games right before the finals or something.
Yeah. So the World Cup final is going to be July 19th. So I'm assuming he's going to miss the MLS All-Star game because then he'd have to play 10 days after the final.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. Like I said, too, in the first week, this team's going to get fatigued with a lot of games because if Argentina goes again, far in the World Cup, which is very possible, like, you really think he's going to come back to the MLS to, like, play a couple games and not do the World Cup? Like, he's not going to do that. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I saw somebody talking about how, oh no, they have to play more games, and it's not that we're complaining that they have to play more games. It's more of us complaining that the MLS schedule sucks because now they're playing, in the middle of the season, so it's going to extend the MLS season. Obviously, it also sucks because somebody also mentioned maybe not as many people are going to be playing in the World Cup that play on MLS teams. But then you have to think like, oh, those people are probably mad because they're like, hey, these guys are getting not time off, but now we have to take time off. We have to cut our rhythm off because X amount of people are going to the World Cup.
Yeah.
So
yeah, exactly.
We'll see how it goes.
And that's another reason why we discussed the calendar change. Like, it's perfect. It needs to be and had to be done. And moving forward, we won't have to, worry about, games during the World Cup, in the future World
next
Cup.
time the World Cup is in the U.S., we don't have to worry about it.
Yeah, exactly. So that's a big thing. At the end of the day, it is what it is. Messi, doing what he's got to do, not getting penalized, but also, a win for the MLS for, a little bit more publicity and a little bit more, eyes on the league. So hats off to them. Before we get into the last two pieces here, I do believe we saw a couple of things come in around some potential transfers. I think you mentioned a couple of them. I don't have anything pulled up right now around it, but from my understanding, this just in, right? Antoine Griezmann potentially coming to the Major League Soccer. He's been linked to a couple different teams. I feel like we've covered him a couple times, and we've been like, oh, he could go here, he could go there. Who knows, right? It sounds like he's legitimately in the running for what team again?
Orlando.
Oh,
the wrong Florida,
the wrong
team,
Miami team.
Unfortunately.
So Antoine Griezmann potentially coming to Orlando. We will see. I think it's a great fit. I mean, honestly, I think he would have. I would have expected him to land somewhere in Los Angeles because he's such a big Lakers fan. You know what I mean? He's kind of like, on that side of the country, I guess. But Orlando's not a bad spot. I mean, to be honest, like, any Florida team's great. Like, Orlando's great. Miami's already, if they were to have landed Griezmann, I think everybody would have boycotted Miami and the MLS for letting that happen, to be honest. Like, that's just being genuinely honest. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no. I mean, obviously, any player that's available, I want to go to Miami. And Griezmann. Or RSL. I'll get on to RSL in a little bit after. But obviously Griezmann is in contract until 2027, so it's not like anything's gonna happen this year possibly. I won't say no yet, but he's kind of discussing things with everybody right now. So nothing has been solidified with Orlando. He has mentioned in previous interviews how coming to North America is a future goal of his. So whether it's Orlando or whoever, I do believe he'll be in the MLS, hopefully on the West Coast, because then we can see him play more often than if he's out on the East Coast. There was some reports in March linking him to LAFC. So he's kind of like all over the place. Hopefully we get him here soon. 2027 is probably looking like the earliest, so after this season. And I mean, I think he'll be a good fit out here. He seems to be very in tune, like from stuff I see in social media. He seems to like a lot of American sports, NBA, football, stuff like that. So obviously that entices him to come over here. So hopefully we'll be seeing Mr. this guy, Mr.
Yeah, he's always got the
Mr. World Cup winner. So another World Cup winner to the MLS.
Really? Yeah, that'd be sick. Yeah, that'll be really cool. Hopefully, he can kind of get that deal done, and then if we can get him this season, even better. You know what I mean? We got a ton of big names. Man, you have Messi, you have what's his name that just signed? James Rodriguez. Just signed, so that'd be super cool. Adding more players is always the goal, right? Adding more top players, more top talent, that's always the goal.
Mm-hmm.
One of the things I noticed too that I don't know if you saw, but LA Galaxy waived Christian Ramirez right before the start of the season on Saturday, February 21st. They mentioned that they exercised the buyout of his contract and announced on Saturday that they're going to waive Christian Ramirez, which is, he's a 34-year-old that was there last season. I thought he was a pretty decent player, honestly. I thought, I didn't think he was, he played bad by any means. Prior to his time at Galaxy, he was, playing for Columbus Crew, where he had 77 appearances. He had like a 23 goal, 12 assist winning MLS Cup of 2023. So he's no stranger to success in the MLS. But, maybe he's just kind of, getting to that age where it's been a little bit difficult. It's starting to get a little bit difficult, 34 years old. But, I'm curious if a lot of teams will start looking at him, because it is one of those things where it's like, whoa, I didn't see that one coming. You know what I mean? So can some players pick him up and maybe potentially like use him better than LA Galaxy could? Potentially. Right? We'll see.
Yeah.
I don't know. I thought he was a great player, to be honest.
Yeah, I'm looking at him right now.
Yeah. So we'll see, man. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, he's been in the MLS since 2018, 14. So he's been in the MLS for quite some time. He seems to be a very proficient goal scorer, at least in the last couple. Maybe a little bit more when he first started, but I mean, he is 34. He's getting a little bit on the older side, but I feel there's quite a few players that could be utilized a little bit better outside of the LA Galaxy. So hopefully somebody picks him up, maybe like an Inter Miami to bolster the attack or
this guy. You're crazy, bro. Okay, cool. So we're kind of coming up on time here, so we'll kind of get these last couple of things out here. So kind of getting into some of the next bit of action for MLS clubs. We, again, do have CONCACAF Champions Cup this week. So if you haven't been keeping up, the first round of, basically the second round of the first round is basically coming up this week. We do have action tomorrow, which will be very cool. But we have action for, let me take a double check. We have Nashville taking on Ottawa once again for the, game 2 of this game. It will be played in Nashville. We also have LAFC taking on Real España. Again, that one will be taking place in Los Angeles. On the 25th, so not tomorrow, but on Wednesday, we will have FC Cincinnati taking on O&M, and then Vancouver taking on Cartaginés. And then to cap it, and on that same day, LA Galaxy does play Sporting SM. And then to cap off the week, on Thursday, you do have Philly taking on Defense Force. So the only one really here that was a little bit, interesting or maybe even concerning, really, are the LA Galaxy and the Whitecaps. Because on the first game, so Vancouver ended up 0-0 against Cartaginés, and then Galaxy ended up 1-1 against Sporting SM. The rest of the teams blew it out of the water. Like Nashville scored 2, LAFC won 6-1, Philly won 5-0, and Cincinnati won 4-0. So, do they need to take it that hard this game? I don't think LAFC will. I don't think Philly will. Hell, I don't even think Cincinnati might. But Vancouver and Galaxy probably will need to do something. You know what I mean? So what are your thoughts, man? I think personally every MLS team will get through and they will end up beating these teams, but is there a chance one of these doesn't go through?
Obviously. The easiest person to pick on is the LA Galaxy. And
I knew you were going to say
they're not going to make it. I'm not too worried. Like you said, everybody else, you should probably rest your best players. They just played Saturday. LA Galaxy played Sunday, so they're playing, 3 days after having played already? So that kind of sucks for them. They probably would have wanted to be like the other teams and sort of get a few goals in, so this next game they wouldn't have to try as hard. Vancouver honestly surprised me that they tied 0-0 with the fact that they had pretty much the strongest lineup aside from I believe Mueller.
Yeah, I don't think he was in.
Didn't start, and he didn't play either. So yeah, he actually went in the 66th minute. So yeah, that was very surprising to me. And well, I'm with you, honestly. I would say LA Galaxy probably has the um, most likely chance to lose. Let me see.
They also have the most pressure.
Yeah.
Because of last year, like I think these fans want to see better. And like you mentioned last week, they're the winningest club in the MLS. Like, how is it that they come from winning the MLS Cup to what they had last year, one of the worst seasons they've ever had? And then now they're going into the second match of the first round in the CONCACAF Champions Cup that they barely got into, by the way. And they're tied 1-1 against Sporting SM from Peru or something, right? Like, what's going on? So, shoot, I don't know.
Panama.
Panama. Okay.
Panama.
From Panama. Like, wild, dude. Like, and this is going to happen. This next game is going to be at Dignity Health. It's going to be in Los Angeles. So, you're going to have your fans there, but they expect a win. So, if you don't get a win this week before this upcoming weekend for week 2, I mean, everybody's going to be like, okay, what's going on? They're going to start paying signs. They're going to want to sack the coach. They're going to want to sack this and that. So, get the win.
I was gonna say the coach is probably going to be the first one to go. It's the easiest person to get rid of when things are going bad. Yeah. Personally, I don't think they will. I think being at home will help them out a little bit. Most of these teams are at home, so hopefully the LA Galaxy wins. I would like to see everybody go into the next round because let me see, who do the LA Galaxy have to play if they win? Do you know?
It's a good question.
It's Mount Pleasant, actually. I just saw it. So they'll have to play Mount Pleasant, and if they were to beat Mount Pleasant, they'd have to play either San Diego or Toluca. So if they make it to the next round and they win, that's probably as far as they're going. Obviously, a really good game that March 13th, Vancouver versus Seattle is probably going to be. I would say Seattle and Vancouver and San Diego and Toluca are probably the matchups to watch next game for how good of teams they are. Miami and Nashville would be the game to watch for the rivalry.
Yep.
So, yeah.
100%. Yeah, I couldn't have said it any better. So, yeah, we do have Toluca, San Diego, which is already confirmed. We have 2 Mexican powerhouses with Cruz Azul, Monterrey. Those will be very good. And like you said, Seattle, Vancouver would be awesome to watch. And then, I mean, Tigres is already in, which you're wearing. Tigres could play Cincinnati in that next round, which, again, would be a great matchup because those 2 teams are very good. 2 top teams from Liga MX and MLS. And then America potentially playing Philadelphia, which another great matchup. And then, yeah, like you mentioned, the rivalry with Inter Miami and Nashville, potentially for the round of 16, like big time games, bro. So lots to look forward to in the CONCACAF Champions Cup. But again, we'll find out more this week, man. If some of the teams that should win, great. If they don't, like, that's wild, to be honest. If Galaxy lose, that will be some crazy stuff. But if they do end up winning, like, they have potentially the easier of the matchups in the next round. Same with LAFC. Like, the teams that they play are, highly seeded, but they're not necessarily in Liga MX.
No disrespect.
Yeah, no disrespect, but but so yeah, lots of action to go there. And then lastly, just the last little plug that we wanted to kind of look at. If you guys aren't familiar, soccer now has fantasy soccer, and it's a great app. It's called KickBase USA. Honestly, it was brand new to me. I had no idea about the app. I saw a quick advertisement on it. I saw it. I said, hey, you know what? This looks kind of cool. Downloaded the app. Very user-friendly. Very great UI. I thought it was awesome. And I sent it out to some buddies. I said, hey, why don't we jump on a quick fantasy league and see what happens? Sent it out to them. First week. Amazing. I don't love that I got to pay. Which, what is it, like advertisement? Like, yes, you have to pay to use it. You don't have to pay to use it. You just have to pay to get all the features. You know what I mean? So that's a little bit of a buzzkill because, when you play fantasy football, you don't have to pay because there's a million different advertisements going around the app, and, it is what it is. It's kind of just how the experience is. But yeah, you have to pay for, full, access to everything. But if you don't want to pay, like, you can still sign into a league, do a, season-long league. And honestly, it works very well. Like, the point system is very clear. It kind of shows you exactly why, they have the points that they do. You can do a six-person like on the field league, or you can do a full 11, and then you can have up to 18 people in a league. So super cool, super awesome app. I've loved it so far, dude. I've also used like the Premier League fantasy league. Absolutely hated it. Did not like it. Was not as intuitive as I thought it was going to be, or easy to use as I thought it was going to be. And this was much more simple. So love that. You're on the league, my friend. What are your thoughts on this KickBase USA app?
I think it is great.
That's all she wrote.
Yeah, no. Sorry, I still need to get used to talking again. It's hard to talk to myself in a room. Well, I'm not technically talking to myself. I'm talking to you. But no, it's a good app. We're doing a six player
yeah
thing. And then we also have another league with the City Boys from St. Louis City Boys podcast. And that's also a 12. So it's nice being able to have like a variety of being able to do smaller amount of players, switching up the budget and doing stuff like that. But yeah, it's been nice so far. Obviously, I didn't do too hot. The only reason I won is because the other guy didn't put anybody on his team. But no, I mean, I actually, like, I'm going to go into it right now, but I like the scroll bar where they have like, plus 10 points for this, minus points for this, doing like this. So I like it because pretty much as soon as something happens in the game, it gets noted. So it's pretty nice being able to get everything so quickly. So I don't know how they do it, but yeah, it's a pretty sick app. I do appreciate it. It's nice being able to have something to look a little bit forward to when it comes to MLS soccer with the fantasy. Obviously, things are a bit more fun when you have not just Messi to watch and cheer him on,
but also a fantasy league, which is awesome.
Yes.
So cool, man. Yeah, I love it. Shout out to the people at KickBase, man. Honestly, you made a very good app, and we are enjoying it so far. I know it's only going to get better from here on out. So yeah, love it so far, and keep up the good work. So super cool to see. Okay, man. Lastly, let's go ahead and take a look at the upcoming games, shall we?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so we do have, like we mentioned, some CONCACAF Champions League games this week. So I think it's going to be a little bit scattered here and there, but for the most part, I believe all the teams that are playing this week will still play this upcoming weekend. So to end off February and going into March, we have a pretty full slate on Saturday, and it also looks like we have some games coming up on Sunday, probably more than we had last week. Just to kind of look at some of these that we have right now for Saturday, which one stands out the most to you? Let me start really quickly because I do want to shout this game out because I'm going to be there. I'm going to go check it out.
I was literally about to do that.
Opening day for Real Salt Lake. They play Seattle Sounders, which I feel like is always a pretty good team. It's always a pretty good game, right, with these guys. So I'm very excited to go watch this game. America First Field, 5:30 Utah, which honestly it's supposed to be a very nice day. Typically around this time in Utah is absolutely freezing and frigid. I probably never would have bought tickets to this game, but it's going to be like 60 degrees, bro. Wild. Absolutely wild for the end of February in Utah. So super excited for that one. Going to be a good game. Real Salt Lake, I really hope they get, Diego Luna back onto the field. They also had a couple. Who was the guy that they just got for their forward? They also had him out for that last game.
I can't think of his name.
I can't remember his name either. Let me take a look really quick. I believe it wasn't Kunji. Was it Pio? No, it wasn't him.
No, Pio was
this
playing.
guy. This Morgan Gialovagui. believe his name, right? Wasn't this one?
I don't know.
Did he just come from? Yeah, it was from this one.
Looks like, yeah. He hasn't played yet, so.
Yeah, I believe something's going on with this guy and, like, you know, getting him over into the league, which has been a little bit tough. But I'm hopeful that, you know, they get their full squad, they get everybody going in there, they get this Morgan guy in there. Diego Luna's hopefully no longer injured.
Go down a little bit to Lucas Moisa, bro. Look at his picture.
Where?
Right, one down. Where you are, one
Moisa?
down. Look at his picture, bro.
What is this?
This is who we were starting, bro. We were starting a 10-year-old. Look at
that. Dude, that's crazy. He's 17. That's insane. That's crazy, dude. Yeah, and there's also another person that I think my brother mentioned.
Booth.
Like, played against him. Oh, yeah, this guy. This Zach Booth kid. And then he, like, would play against him or something like that when he was, like, growing up. So that's kind of wild to see, dude. That's insane. That a lot of these kids are kind of going up. And
his brother's Tyler Booth.
Okay, I don't know who that is for some reason. But anyways, yeah, I'm excited for this game. I'm hoping that, like I said, Real Salt Lake has their full squad in. I'm hoping that everything goes well. Head-to-head looks pretty good. I mean, look, Real Salt Lake has more wins against Seattle Sounders. So I'm expecting a fun game. I'm excited to go and just check this game out and, you know, kind of see what the fans are like first game, you know, first home game of the season. I think, you know, a lot of people will show up. But again, it's going to be one of those games where it's like, hey, RSL, if you want people to continue to come back, you got to win games. Best way to do that is to beat Seattle. So let's do it.
Keep the positive wins record up. Let's not let them catch up. It's 18-16 currently. So
exactly.
Oh my gosh, dude! I'm like trying to talk and not sneeze at the same time. But yeah, I did want to say this is going to be a good game. I feel RSL did really well against Vancouver. I don't know if Vancouver's just bad this year because they tied against the other team they played it in, and then they only beat RSL by 1 goal, right? 1-0. Or maybe RSL is just getting better, and hopefully, like you said, Diego Luna's in there. Maybe we can get one of what his name's Booth, Zach Booth, going in there, getting our team back healthy, and the Seattle Sounders team is really good. So if RSL can keep up with them to start off the season, I feel like that'll be a very good indication of how the season will go, which was was it 2-3 years ago when RSL was doing really well. So hopefully they can get back into winning ways and getting into the playoffs convincingly and not just, we barely made it by 1 point because this team lost. So
yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Any other games you're looking at for Saturday?
For Saturday, sorry, I was looking. Oh, freaking.
The only ones that really stand out to me while you're kind of looking at this would probably be FC Dallas against Nashville. I think this will be a good indication of, like, was this Dallas win last week legit? Can they beat a very good Nashville team? Same thing with Houston Dynamo. Was their win last week legit? And can they beat this, you know, high-powered LAFC teams? Those kind of stand out to me as like the best ones to kind of watch on Saturday.
I was on a similar thing, but I was just going to see if LAFC's was just a fluke and if they actually, you know, deserve to beat Miami. But that's just
you're always salty about it.
I'm keeping the what is it, the intensity up, you know. No.
There you go.
So Saturday, aside from the RSL game, which I was thinking of going, I'm going to see if I still can. I have a birthday party I need to attend to that day. That's why that day sounded so familiar to me. I'm like, the 28th. But obviously this Canadian matchup, I feel like anytime there's like at least in the MLS, the in-country rivalries sometimes are pretty good. So hopefully Toronto can do something because their previous couple games have not been very good to them. So I had them as a dark horse last year. So hopefully they can do a little bit better. Vancouver is a good team. Toronto is a decent team. I did say they were bad earlier, but I didn't mean it. Toronto, you guys got this.
It will be good for sure.
Yeah, I feel like this will be a very interesting game, aside from the fact they've finished 0-0 the last 2 games they played. So
yeah. No, I think it'll be good. So that is a good call out. The 2 Canadian teams going at it. Always good games. So should be a fun one to watch.
Mm-hmm.
And then on Sunday, we do have 4 games going on. Probably the one that stands out the most is going to be what is it called? Clásico del Sol or something like that. The rivalry game.
Mm-hmm.
Orlando against Inter Miami. I feel like it's always a pretty good game, to be honest. I feel like, yes, Miami has a very stacked team right now, but yeah, as you can see, Orlando has the upper hand at this point, within the 2 teams. So, can this change with the team that they have now? Absolutely. But I think this is a good rivalry. It's going to be in Orlando, not in Miami. So should be a fun one to watch. But I think at the end of the day, yes, Inter Miami's definitely a much better team. But, you never really know with these rivalry games, man. It's so much up in the air,
This game, dude. Like, obviously, I said it as a joke, like, oh, Orlando City's a bad team, but the fact that Inter Miami has to play LAFC the first game and then they got to go straight into a rivalry game is going to be good for me because I like watching these games, but it's going to be a bit of an intense game for Inter Miami. So I do have, obviously, as always, Inter Miami winning this game. And I don't think the goalie's going to have as good of a game as he did last week. And they did lose, so it's not like they won. But wait, how? Oh, okay, sorry. No, that threw me off. I was going to say, why is Inter Miami? But it's because they didn't score any goals. So, yeah, I think if Orlando struggled with New York Red Bulls, it's probably going to be a bit of a night for them next Sunday. So, hey. Yeah. I could be wrong though. Inter Miami could be the new LA Galaxy. So
who knows, man?
If that happens, if they're the new LA Galaxy from last year, you're never gonna see me again. Just so you know. So you don't want that to happen,
dude. That's so funny you say that, bro. I don't think. I mean,
there's no way.
Miami loses this game, like, is it like time to like raise the alarm? I think everybody will raise the alarm and be like, oh my gosh, we just totally caught this wrong. Yeah. I don't think so. I mean, give Miami time, dude. Like they're getting, I feel like they're waking up. You know what I mean? They're still very early and everything. So I don't see, a loss here affecting them whatsoever. So, whatever happens. But, I think Miami could win this game and get back to it. So I don't think that's going to happen, to be honest. But
I think they're definitely going to want to get back into it because the CONCACAF Champions Cup game is 2 weeks after that, so they'll play one more game. So they'll kind of want to be in a rhythm, oh, they won this game. They won this game, especially after what Nashville did last week. Because Nashville is kind of already getting into that rhythm. They won. Inter Miami, obviously, Messi got mad. LAFC won. It's like kind of a S show around Miami right now, so they're going to want to win this and bring that momentum into the next week that will hopefully help them in that first round of the CONCACAF Champions Cup. So
for sure. Yeah, and then plenty of other games going on Sunday, but, honestly, there's some clear-cut winners here, but also, the Philly, New York City FC could probably go either way. And then, I'm actually pretty excited to watch San Diego, St. Louis. I think that'll be a good game to watch on Sunday night. To me, that's the best time to watch because on Sunday at this time, like typically, our household is kind of winding down. And I can definitely have some time to watch a good game. So I'm excited for this one. Hopefully the city boys out there are going to watch this one and, cheer on their team. It's going to be late for them, but, it should be a fun game against San Diego.
What time is it out there? Like 8 or 9?
This will be 9:15 for them. Because they're Eastern Standard, I think. Or are they Central?
I don't know.
They
didn't teach me that in school.
Time zone. Oh, they're in Central. So it's 8. Yeah, so it's not that late. They'll be fine. But again, it's Sunday night, so it is going to be late, because you got things to do the following day. But cool, man. Solid stuff. Lots of things we covered on this episode today. Super pumped for this upcoming weekend, just to kind of keep things rolling. CONCACAF Champions Cup, MLS Week 2. So lots to look forward to. If there's ever anything you guys want us to cover, maybe some things that we didn't, cover this week, and maybe you want us to cover next week, let us know. The World Cup is coming up here, short few months, but, we'll probably start getting into that a little bit more maybe next month, just given, the playoffs and stuff that are going to happen then. So we'll kind of start covering that here in a little bit. But other than that, man, like, thank you guys for tuning in. Thank you guys for giving us follows and likes and comments on our socials and TikTok, YouTube, Facebook, Instagram. Really appreciate all that. Everybody that subscribes and follows, we appreciate you a lot for doing that. So thank you for that. And yeah, man, any final thoughts from week one from, this last week, dude? Anything else you wanted to say?
No, just glad to have some soccer I can watch on the weekends that isn't just Barcelona. So,
there you go.
But speaking of Barcelona, they're back on top. So anybody talking smack, and also that guy, that the person that was talking shit to me on TikTok, calling me a bandwagon. Screw you, man. I'm not a bandwagon. I've been a Miami fan since they were incepted. I just happen to live in Utah, so I'm also an RSL fan.
For those of you that don't know, he was himself. But yeah, all that stuff, man. Love it. Appreciate y'all. We'll catch you guys next week in the next episode. Appreciate it. See y'all.
See you.
Peace.